Well, the first thing to look at is for how long your birds have been in the range. Some birds will have been in the range for weeks or even months, and those birds will have been used to go out and go farther away from the house and spending the day out ranging, scratching, socializing with other birds. So for those birds can be quite stressful, actually, the fact that they are kept now for at least a month indoors. For other birds that have not been out yet, for instance birds that are 19-20 weeks, obviously it won't be as stressful because they haven't been out, so they won't miss what they haven't had. Well, they are different issues depending, as I said before, whether the birds have been out previously or not. For birds that have been out, it can be quite stressful, and we could see things like drop in egg production, respiratory problems, mortality, or even vices like pecking and cannibalism. So I will make the producers aware of those issues, and I will ask them to watch very closely those flocks that are now kept indoors. It's not the same to have a house that is ventilated widely during the day when the pop holes are open, or a house which will now have the pop holes closed. This is of particular interest in houses that are naturally ventilated, because the producer won't be able to have the same air quality that they had now. Therefore, I will advise people to measure the levels of CO2 in the houses and make sure that they are kept under 3,000 ppm, and also measure the levels of ammonia inside of the houses, and perhaps, if they can, reduce the amount of feces that are under the pits, because that builds up considerably the level of ammonia in the sheds. Yes, other things that the producers can do is try to enrich the environment, and by this I mean to introduce things inside of the houses like balls, toys, peck blocks, and also bales of straw. If this is done, they have to make sure that these bales are clean and they haven't been stored outside where potentially could be contaminated with feces from wild birds. So biosecurity is still very important. Well, they will have to, because those birds will have established already their own hierarchy, and to keep them indoors will potentially affect their behavior. So there is the possibility that those birds will start pecking one each other or bullying one each other. So it's important that body weights are still measured on a weekly basis, if possible, and also egg production, egg quality, and feather cover. And if any anomalies are seen, I will advise producers to contact the vet straight away, because they are remedies that can be given either through the water or by managing the environment to make sure that we reduce these potential welfare issues in the flock. Yes, but it all depends on what happened, in the next few weeks in terms of avian flu. Obviously, I will agree with the chief veterinary officer that it's a very prudent measure to keep the birds indoors. Seeing what we've seen in the last few months across Europe, all the cases that we had, it's just only prudent to keep the birds indoors. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks.